In today's video, I want to talk about how I believe working your 9 to 5 or your full-time job isn't the grind itself at all. It's like basic hygiene. It's like brushing your teeth. It's like flushing the toilet. It's just something you should do. The real grind, that's the hours you put outside of your full-time job. So if your job is just the floor, then what are you doing to build on it? I like to think that society has kind of programmed us men that we have to be the breadwinners, and that when we are the breadwinners, that's enough for your lady, that I can pay for everything, that's good enough for her. Something we have to consider that now in 2025, there are a lot of women in the workspace. And if you do the studies, women dominate men in studied workspaces and industries because they not only, we know they're smarter, but they also can do everything outside of work as well. They can do the housely duties, they can do the cleaning, they have the emotional intelligence, they have the mental capability of doing a 9 to 5 and taking care of themselves and even a child, let alone. So as a man, just going to work and doing your 9 to 5, is that really enough? I want to explain that showing up to your job does matter. Doing your 9 to 5 well does matter. But is it enough to move you forward? I truly don't think so. I think the paycheck is for survival, not for growth. Before we push past and try to explain how doing a 9 to 5 isn't enough, I want to preach to you guys that there are some things you should be doing in your 9 to 5, and that just not doing a 9 to 5 isn't good either. Just being like, oh well, 9 to 5 is a trap, so I'm not going to work at all. You're a loser. We're not talking about you. We're saying a 9 to 5 is like brushing your teeth. If you don't brush your teeth, you're weird. And doing a 9 to 5, just like brushing your teeth, if I walked in and saw you brush your teeth for 20 seconds, you didn't even put toothpaste on, you missed half your teeth, I would think you're pretty weird. Well, if you go to 9 to 5 and you spend at least 40 hours a week at your job, you don't care about it, you don't put in effort, you don't take pride in your work, so you still want to show up on time, you still want to be reliable, you still want to take charge and lead if there isn't lead being taken, right? You still want to do these things right and have these attributes that will benefit you in all aspects of life. So don't sweat it that just because the 9 to 5 is the basics doesn't mean we're not going to do it well. Are you doing something outside of your full-time job that will pay you more later on? For me, I'm almost done with my bachelor's in applied science with a focus in management and technology. So that means I'm focused on, like, I know all the Microsoft apps, I know Access, I know Power BI, I know Tableau, I know Excel, I know SQL, I know a bunch of these random things I'll probably never use, but I'm getting my bachelor's degree. You know, that will pay me more. I'm working on my online business. I'm trying to build a YouTube channel. You know, I'm trying to do things outside of my job that will hopefully make me more money later on. I can name a bunch of things that you could be building: side hustle, investing, health, family, building your faith, building a brand. You know, there's a lot of things that you can be doing, and it doesn't have to all be monetary, right? This doesn't have to all just be for the gain of more money. It's the gain of being a better man. What does it mean to be a man? Because clearly now in 2025, it doesn't just mean putting in the hard work at your job, because anybody has to do that now. Everybody has to do that now. Women can do it now. Like, what are you actually worth? So what's the plan? Have you thought about it? What are you doing outside of work? Or are you just clocking in, clocking out, going home, watching TV, falling asleep, and doing it all over again? What are you doing outside of work to make yourself stand out? I'd like to paint a picture of what my ideal day/week would look like. To wake up, I'd like to go straight to the gym, do a little bit of meditation. But what I mean by meditation is just like breathing practice, where I'm keeping like a specific sentence or a goal in my head that I want to achieve that day, that month, that year, something that I can always hound in on, so that when I'm starting my day, my whole focus and clarity is around this one goal I have in my head, right? After that, I would love to make my wife breakfast more often, and in the morning, I'd like to clean up the dishes, get the house prepped. And what I mean by prepped is prepped for a whole day of me not being in it, right? So being clean enough that when I leave, it's not a burden to my partner. I'd like to come home, clean up the dishes after dinner is made. I would like to be able to reset the house. I would like to be able to work on my business a little bit and my YouTube. I would like to be able to learn a little bit more skills outside of work. Notice how I also have been reading. Before I end that, I've also been reading. I've been trying to read before bed. I've read so much more this year than my whole life. And then I would like to rinse and repeat every single day. Notice that like 80% of what I talked about was not my 9 to 5. Yeah, I want to do a good job at my 9 to 5, and I think I'm doing a good job, but that doesn't mean that's my priority. Isn't that the crazy part? That's the baseline. Brushing your teeth shouldn't be the priority. It should be something that you check off and do right every single time. It doesn't mean it's your priority. It doesn't mean it's the only thing you have to do. It doesn't mean you just do that and then, okay, I can just relax for the rest of the day. It's like hygiene. It's checking off a box. I want you to ask yourselves, are you just using your time after work to scroll or build? Are you using it to cope or create? I want to reiterate as I wrap up that the 9 to 5 isn't your ceiling, right? That's not like, oh, I've capped out on my promotions. That's all I got. No, it's just the floor. It's a foundation. You know, it's the stable job that gets you stable money, that gets you a stable house and stable food. Well, if you want anything other than that, then you have to put in the work outside of that. Because if everyone's doing what you're doing and doing a 9 to 5 and getting the same results, what are you doing differently? You know, the time after 5 p.m., after you get off work, that is your time to step up and work on the things that you're not so good at. You know, as a man, as a husband, as a leader of this household, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And frankly, if I just did my 9 to 5 and nothing else, I would be trending downwards. You know, there's things you need to learn and grow on, build your faith. There's things that you can't do while you're at work. If work is just the baseline, brushing your teeth is just the baseline, there's still a million other things you need to do. I hope that made you guys think a little bit. I don't want to come off as a guru, like I'm doing all these things right. I'm painting a picture for the things I'm preaching that I want to practice. And I think that speaking them into fruition and talking about them will help me do them more often. I'm hoping I can just share my insight and my opinions, and maybe it will resonate with a few of you. Maybe that will make you guys think about the things you could be doing outside of your work, maybe considering that your full-time job isn't enough. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned a little bit of something. If you did, comment. If this made you feel something, share it with me. What are you building outside of your 9 to 5?